Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ignite Your Spark webinar. I'm Chari Hineda Elon, a podcaster, and I work in partnerships at a nonprofit organization here in Canada. I'm honored and privileged to welcome you all today because last mid-April, roughly 5 months ago, I attended the first Ignite Your Spark Masterclass by Azim Jamal. The masterclass has contributed to my growth and journey towards recharging my spirit and fueling my passion. In other words, igniting my spark. I was very much inspired by the masterclass that I wanted to share my experience and insights with others on my own channel. That I asked Azim and the participants if we could hold a series on my podcast, Life Expressions. They graciously said yes, so we produced the Ignite Your Spark series on Life Expressions, where we had conversations about the elements of spark: service, purpose, attraction, resilience, and knowing. The past 5 episodes have been insightful. The conversations were full of life, real experiences of the participants. And today is a culmination of the Ignite Your Spark series. To double the impact, we turned the podcast into a live webinar so that you can ask questions to the resource speaker himself, Azim Jamal. And this will be facilitated by someone who is also very knowledgeable about the masterclass. Before we begin, here are a few quick guidelines. Please stay muted during the presentation to avoid background noise. Feel free to use the chat for comments or questions throughout the session. We'll have a Q&A session at the end. You can either raise your hand or post questions in the chat. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared with you afterwards. If you experience any technical issues, please message our support team in the chat or for Zana. Those who stay until the end will have 2 gifts from Azim Jamal, so be sure to stay until the end. It will only take 1 hour. Now we're ready to rock and roll and ignite our spark. Let me introduce to you our facilitator today. Salim Devji is a serial entrepreneur and has done business in several countries. He has African and Middle East experience in diverse sectors of business. Understanding the big picture and finding solutions are what stimulate him, along with identifying opportunities and strategic alliances through established international and continental business, professional, and personal networks. He is passionate about helping organizations become more relevant by significantly contributing towards clarity and vision, strategy, and the overall sense of purpose for greater impact to the business and the community it serves. Salim has served on various international boards since 2006. He currently serves on 2 international multi-industry private company advisory boards, as well as the HBS Africa Advisory Board. Salim has facilitated several events with Azim Jamal around the Ignite Your Spark content. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Salim Devji.
Thank you, Shari, for that very kind introduction. Welcome, everyone. If we can get your cameras on, that'd be amazing, so we can see your body language. We can see you engage a little bit more. That would be fabulous. It is absolutely my pleasure to be here today. I've had the opportunity to engage with Azim for the last several years in these kinds of conversations. They're always exciting, they're passionate, and they really make you feel just a little bit better. So if you've had a lousy day today your day is going to get better. Azim, welcome to the program. We're absolutely delighted to have you again.
Thank you, Saim. Pleasure to be here.
All right, let's do a little introduction using an introduction reel. Farzana, if I can ask you to use that, thank you. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce a great friend, Azim Jamal. Azim is an internationally sought-after inspirational speaker and leadership coach. Born in Tanzania, educated in Kenya, the UK, and Canada, he is the founder of Corporate Sufi Worldwide. Azim's inspiring message has been heard live by over 1 million people in 100 cities in 5 continents. Through his books and media messages, he has reached over 5 million people. He lives in Vancouver, Canada, but his heart is global. Thank you for that. So in the next hour or so, we're going to have a conversation on Spark based on Azim Jamal's latest book. If you haven't picked it up, go to your neighborhood bookstore and definitely pick it up. But really, this is going to be the basis of our conversation today. Azim, let's get right to it. For those that don't know about Spark, help us introduce the topic. What is Spark?
So SPARK basically is an acronym which covers S for service, P for purpose, A for attraction, R for resilience, and K for knowing. And this acronym was a result of my own journey in life. I went to serve the refugees and Afghan refugees in Karachi as an accountant. And while I was serving them, I stumbled into my calling, my passion to inspire, to give, to write, to coach. And when I had that experience, and I wanted to help people like that, I set high goals, 100 times bigger than my goals in my accounting career. And then I went through a lot of struggle. I failed, I struggled, I had obstacles, I had hurdles. So I had to go through resilience. And eventually I had a knowing, a zero doubt that I'm on the right track. So S was for service when I put my hand up to go and serve. P was my purpose when I stumbled into my calling while I was serving the refugees. A was my attraction when I set huge goals. R was my resilience. When I was aiming those big goals, I went through so many challenges, so many struggles, so many obstacles, so many failures, almost giving up. But then eventually I made it. And then I had a knowing that it's not about the success, it's about every single day making an impact in people's life. So Spark is what it's the basis of that whole philosophy.
And I'll talk a little bit later about the whole program, but I want to get directly to why did you do this? Why is Spark around?
So, everybody in this call today is nature's greatest miracle. If I use you, Salim, as an example, you're a miracle. There's nobody like you. There never was, there never will be. Nobody walks like you, talks like you, thinks like you. There was nobody since Adam like you, and there will never be anybody like you till the end of creation. So we are unique, we are special, and we are very, very powerful. But most of us hardly scratch our power. Why? Because we lack that spark. When you have that spark, that twinkle in your eye, your brows are unwrinkled, your heart is open, there's an echo in your voice, there's a spring in your step, and you're glowing and flowing and oozing with energy, and you're living on purpose, you're using your birthday gift, then you are able to tap into your genius. So it is important for all of us to use our spark to make a world a better place. Make our life better, our family life better, our community life better, but the world at large. And if all of us contribute, we can create magic in the world.
So we got the what, we got the why. How does that happen?
So this is the whole idea, how does not happen in a quick fix. The reason I've come to this place where I'm doing a webinar followed by a masterclass of 66 days is because I realized that, to change habits is not easy. I've been doing this myself for 25, 30 years. Even for me, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. So we all have to improve. So doing one thing, like in the seminar, people will be inspired, they'll get some energy, but then they go back to their old ways because the habits have been formed for 10, 20, 30 years. So by doing this kind of approach, we're now talking about methodology, talking about the concept, and then talking about every single day you have a workbook, you work on something 15 days every day. For 66 days, you're now getting into a new rhythm, right? So that's the idea.
Fantastic. And for those that have joined us, to our guests, so just to share with you the flow of our conversation today, we're going to talk a little bit about practical applications. Then we're going to put you all into breakout rooms so that you'll be able to share some ideas. After the breakout room, you're going to be asked to put some things on the chat. We're going to have a conversation on the chat. We really, really want you to be engaged in this conversation. The masterclass, as you will hear by the end of our session together, is a powerful opportunity for you to engage. However, it needs to have meaning to you. And that's really what we want to try and achieve today, is to try and identify how this masterclass can have true meaning to you. So let's quickly have a chat on a bit of the practical side. So there has been already a masterclass that was executed flawlessly with great success, and this is going to be our second session of that. So Shari, I'd like to come to you first. You were an incredible participant in the first masterclass series that began. Please, can you share with our guests a couple of powerful takeaways that you got from attending the masterclass?
Thank you, Salim. Well, attending the masterclass has really been life-changing for me. The first is that the session was so encouraging and so engaging. There were about 40 participants from 16 different countries. And during the masterclass, we have realized that, hey, our values and the principles are aligned. We are in the same direction. So that was a wow factor for me. Having a network from different 16 different countries is just the wow factor, and knowing that you are aligned and you have the same direction and wanting to do the same, to make a positive impact in the world. The second was realizing and cementing my ultimate purpose credo in life, to make a positive impact in whatever I do, wherever I am, however I can. That is wonderful. And the third is that after the masterclass, it's just like, hey, I have this energy in me that people just notice, the spark in me that they just notice, and my friends could not help but mention it to me and say, really? And well, that's the product and the result of the masterclass.
That's fantastic, right? So values alignments, no matter where people are from around the world, super powerful. Being able to identify your meaning, right? Your ultimate credo. And then the fact that after this you have a new, renewed sense of energy, amazing. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. As a CEO, as a leader of different types of organizations, I've had, the blessing and the great opportunity to be part of so many engagements with Azim. And I remember in one of our conversations, he asked me a very simple question: why are you here? What is it that you want to do in your life? And Shari, I'm taking on your point about the personal credo, and I had written my personal life vision. And I would really challenge you, do you have a personal life vision? Because that helps you start understanding why we're doing all of this. It starts getting to the root of why incredible people like Azim Jamal spend their time and energy going to these far out places in the world to make a difference. What do we do to make a difference in the world? So, Azim, let's start with a couple of concrete conversations. Can you share with us perhaps a unique transformation that we can expect participants to have by joining this masterclass?
I think the first step would be, first they'll realize that they're not alone in their journey. They will meet people from different part of the world who are in different kind of environment, circumstances, professions, industries, and they all have the same journey. So that make you feel I'm not alone. Secondly, you learn from each other. Not to just learn from the facilitator, but learn from each other, because everybody has experiences that you can learn from, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And thirdly, I think the habit of every single day doing something. You're given a very organized, systematic workbook approach where you have to do something every single day for a short time. And as you keep doing that, you form a new habit of creating something positive. And also, I think there are very fundamental topics like ultimate purpose credo. What is your life going to be defined by? Like service mantra, which is something that you're so gifted to do, like finding your birthday gift, what you're born with. It took me 43 years to find my gift. I mean, in the beginning of my life, I was a scientist, lousy scientist. Then I became an accountant. I had 3 degrees in accounting. I had 3 professional degrees. I had the best result in the history of the college. And then I changed my career. At 43, I found out that he was not an accountant. Azim is not an accountant. He's something different. So finding your birthday gift, it's also very important. So those fundamental things make you get you the foundation of where you are. You have the affirmation attraction, where you're clear about your affirmation. You're clear about what identity you want to create. For example, Zena is in the call here from Zanzibar. She was a participant. How is Zena going to define her life by? What is the identity she wants to create? And once you know that identity, and then you start to affirm it, I am this person, I am this person, I am this person, every morning, every night. It then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you don't know your identity, what you want to become, if you don't know your purpose in life, the ultimate purpose in your life, if you don't know what your birthday gift is, even if you don't know what your service mantra is, you are kind of doing everything, you're working hard, but you're scattered. So this class helps you to become focused on what really matters.
Excellent, excellent. And you know what? I will encourage everyone, just go onto the chat. And if you have a personal credo, if you have a personal vision, life vision, just type it in. It'd be great for you to share. I came to realization several years ago, and I wrote mine out. I was on a flight and I decided to write it out. And essentially, I'm going to share with you, it is to make the world a better place by empowering people with knowledge. And really, that is why I'm here as well, is to be able to give an opportunity to share, to learn from each other. So Azim, thank you for that. Encouraging anyone that has a personal credo, a personal life vision, please go ahead and post it. So let's go on with a couple more questions. Can you share some examples of how, after having joined this program, some of your participants have achieved significant breakthroughs? We've heard a little bit from Shari. Give us another couple of examples. How have some of the participants really found something new and unique and say, wow, I didn't see that before?
So, for example, we had a participant, Lori from USA. She's a expert in climate consulting expert, and she was at a career where she was not sure what's next step for her. By coming to this class, she was able to get a breakthrough of realizing what the next item for her was, and it was a much higher level than she had ever thought before. It's an example of what happened in her case. We have Henry here on the call. He's part of Puerto Rico. He's the youngest, one of the youngest people in our groups. You know, he also had a realization what he would like to. There he is, Henry. He's putting his hand up. Hi, Henry. You're on mute. I guess Fazana has to unmute you. Anyways, so basically, yeah. So Henry also at a young age realized that, you know, what his next journey was. He has a lot of opportunities in life. He was part of a huge organization with his father, a big company in Puerto Rico. His father is a client of mine, and you know, had a breakthrough and realized what is his ultimate identity that he wants to create. And then Sherry did 5 podcasts with 10 different participants, each one sharing their journey. And Sherry would be really happy to share with a group to watch those podcasts where people are actually sharing their story and their transformation.
Thank you. And there's another Sherry that has posted on the chat group to say, I want all children around the world to be able to read and not suffer from allergies. That's really ambitious, and that's really a fantastic thing to see and to read. So thank you, Sherry, for that. So Azim, moving forward, how does the focus on concepts like flow state make our lives better?
So McKinsey did a study for 10 years, you know, and found out that high-level executives who worked in flow for one single day, they did 5 days of work. So if they worked on Monday with total flow, and flow means totally present, totally content, and totally in control, they would do 5. So if they work on Monday and don't work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they've done a week's work. But they also, the same study also found out that most people are less than 5% in flow. So if they were able to increase from 5% to 15%, they would double their productivity. So it's one of the items, you know. And so when you're in flow, I mean, my flow, for example, is if I go to sleep at 7:30 or 8 p.m. and I wake up at 1 a.m. when everybody's sleeping in my house, and I have a place of study, I sit down there and I start to work, I start to create, I start to write, I start to think, suddenly I get so much done, and the time is only 10 past 1. The clock stops because I'm in the flow. I'm creating magic. So we have to realize when are we in the flow and how we become in the flow. And usually you become in the flow when you're clear about your ultimate purpose credo, when you're clear about your affirmation attraction, when you're clear about your service mantra. You know, all of these concepts that allow you to become doing something that has a much higher meaning. And you also realize at the end of the day, you only have one day at a time. You know, you can plan for 100 years, the Sufis would say, but you don't know what's going to happen the next second. So every day is the most important day. Every day is the day that you have to create the highest impact and the Christ, and every day is a day to be happy. Being happy is not is something that is a privilege. And when you're happy, people around you are happy. I don't know, Salim, if you shared the Harvard study already on the happiness. Maybe you can share that and for people to realize what happiness means, right?
Sure. So very quickly, Harvard University did a study that spanned 85 years. It ran across 3 generations, and it was a study on happiness. And after 85 years, and it's a continuing study, very simple. We don't seek material things. Material things don't make us happy. It is experiences, it is engagements, it is relationships that make us happy. And I think, and I'm sure many of us know, people that seek material benefits, and literally their life report card is how much money they have in the bank, right? It's their balance sheet, it's their income statement. But I would argue that the happiest people are not necessarily those that look at their bank statement. They probably look at their heart statement. They probably look at how many lives that they're making happier, that they're improving, that they are actually, if I can even look at Nazir Nensi's statement here, his vision is eliminate global poverty, right? I mean, someone that can achieve even a small improvement in global poverty is richer than Bill Gates. I will argue that. Of course, Bill Gates is only now focusing on that. So I would like to share that for us to be happy, it's not a dollar sign, it's a heart sign. Azim, let's continue with some questions. Okay, sorry, there's another a statement online by Dr. James Kanangwa. His vision to be a top Pan-African executive, creating value for organizations by focusing on excellence. Again, very admirable. And unless we put that statement out there, it becomes difficult for you to envision where we want to go. So maybe let's touch on that topic, Azim. By joining your program, how do we build our personal credo? How do we get to a state where we know what is our purpose? We know what is our vision?
So one of the questions we grapple with in the class is, if I was to ask someone in the class here or in the normal class, if you're 90 years old, and when I say 90, I'm symbolizing that you're dying. You can die at 100, you can die at 80, but 90 is a reasonably good age. And when you're dying, your creator says, welcome back. Let's take the example of Amin Ali sitting there. Welcome back. Yeah. And, I gave you eyes that were so small, but you could see the stars trillions of miles away. That means you were small physically, but you had enormous power inside you. You had a brain more powerful than the computer. Tell me about your life. And he gets 2 minutes to say about his life. What will he say that will make him feel that my life was phenomenal? My life was a wow. Now, once you can articulate that, and you really say, if I could articulate this, my life would be phenomenal. And then, most important, after we talk about it, and after people play with it and work and change and whatever, and finalize, this is my credo, and I want to be defined by this credo, then everything they do, and I mean everything, the way you walk, and the way you talk, and the way you sleep, and the way you do your work, and then you do your business, and everything you do aligns with that credo, that's where congruence happens. That's where magic happens. That's when spark happens, right? So this is the process you go through. Now, it's not a quick fix. People will start with something, and then they will change it, and then they'll rethink it, because it's something you want to define your whole life by. And so it takes time, energy, sincerity, and really questioning within to see, is this my highest purpose? Is this where I was born to do? Am I using all my gift that I have? Will I be so happy with what I've created by this credo? And I think this is the exercise people do. And even after 66 days, they still feel that maybe it's perfect, but they come to a stage when they're much more happier, not only of understanding it, but also living it in their life.
Excellent, thank you. Norm has just posted her vision is to deliver books to remote areas of Pakistan, especially in Tajikistan. So empowering people with knowledge. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. Really, it's also my vision to try and make the world a better place by empowering people with knowledge. So there's very different ways of doing that. Azim, can we get a little bit more practical? How do we get increased personal and professional productivity by joining the Spark program?
So we have a concept in the class we talked about. Most people are an activity trap. How do you change from activity trap to activity impact? Those who are in activity trap sometimes feels that they are really doing well, and they are busy, and they are working hard, and they're doing the best they can. But if they really dig deep, they'll find that I'm in a trap. I'm being busy, but I'm not aligned to my ultimate purpose credo. I don't have an affirmation attraction of what I really want in my life. When I get very clear, this is what I want, and this is why I want it, and this is how I'm going to define my life. And then instead of prioritizing your schedule, the to-do list of 10 things to do, you shift it aside and you schedule your priorities. Your priorities are your ultimate purpose credo. Your priorities are your service mantra. Your priorities are you using your birthday gift. These are the priorities that you have. Then you schedule them, because these are long-term things. They're not quick fix things. And if you don't do that, you're going to be caught up in the trap. Every day, 20 things to do, 40 things to do. But it's not the 40 things you do. It's the one thing you do, maybe the 2 things you do. At the most, the 3 things you do that are game-changing for your ultimate purpose, right? So this is a very important shift. And people are challenged with that aspect, and challenged in the way that I think one of my colleagues, Stephen Covey, who was one of the great leadership coaches, would say, is like, are you focusing on what's urgent? Are you focusing what's important? And most people are focusing on urgent because they associate urgent with important. But think about it. Reading is not urgent. Health, exercise is not urgent. Meditation is not urgent. But these are important things. But they are parked because everything else takes over. But if you start with the important, then you prevent the urgent. You prevent the firefighting. And this is how you increase your productivity around what matters. Things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. But do we know what matters most? And are we focused on the things that matter most? And do we challenge ourselves day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute? Am I focusing on what really matters?
Excellent. Thank you. In a short while, we're going to go to a breakout session, and I will explain to you what you'll do in the breakout session. But before I do that, I would like to read the other vision statements that have been posted. One from Jamshed, who said, "My vision is to become a leader who could be capable to turn countries of developing into countries of opportunity, to create a circumstance of hope for people for a better future and bring impactful change so that their quality of life changes." These countries are Central Asian, including Tajikistan and Afghanistan. Again, extremely noble. Vimal Shah is saying to stay and to keep mad to all that I do. MAD stands for making a difference. Thank you for that.
Vimal is one of your crowd. Salim, your IPO.
Yes, I know. Vimal is a good friend of mine. Vimal, thank you for joining. So we are going to go, Farzana's going to put us into small groups. The idea in the group is just for you to have a quick conversation on just one topic. You will ask yourself, what is the one life challenge you will want to start working on this year still? Okay, already most of the year has gone through, but what is the one life challenge that you would like to still work on this year? Have a conversation in your group, and then when the group is shut down and you come back into the master group, once the breakout is finished and you come back to the master group, I would ask that you each just type your statement. And the statement has been posted by Farzana. Thank you very much. The statement is, what is the one life challenge that you would like to work on? And I've just added this year. Once you have all posted that, what we're going to do is we're going to get back together, and then we're going to have conversations around some of the topics that you have raised. Because as I shared earlier, this is about you. This session is about how do we help you have a wow life? How do we get you to Shari's state, right? She says, I'm oozing with energy. I have all of this mental strength now. How do we get you to that level? So that's really what we would like to do. Farzana, are you okay? There's
Salim,
a question.
can I just make one addition there? It's one per group together, not one individually. So the group will decide one as a whole. Because otherwise we have 2 minutes to respond.
It is fine. If they have more than one, I would say that is also fine.
Okay.
So Shabnam's questions, are you talking about my own personal life challenges or the challenges in the society that I'm impacting to change and fix? So this is about your challenge. So if you have a vision that you want to go and fix the world, or send books to XYZ, what is stopping you from getting there? All right. So your vision can be clear. Fantastic. What is holding you back? Because ultimately, that is what the masterclass is going to help you to achieve that vision, to achieve that purpose, to get you a little bit closer to that ultimate happy space that you would like to be in.
How many minutes you're giving them?
All right. So let's give you guys seven odd minutes. Farzana, if you can put everyone into a group, you can have 1 or 2 statements from the group. If you have disparate ideas, it's perfectly fine. We will just select a couple of them to stimulate the conversation moving forward. Okay, let's go. So Farzana, please put everyone into breakout rooms. Thank you.
Hello, James.
Hi, Azim.
How are you?
Good.
Are you in Dar es Salaam?
No. I mean, Addis Ababa.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. How are things there?
Oh, we're pushing. All well.
Hi, Vimal.
Hi, Azim. How are you?
Nice to meet you after a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing?
Good. Always well dressed and sharp.
I just come from an event. How are you doing?
Good.
I was a
Family
chief
okay?
guest at a school.
Family's okay?
Yeah, all well, all well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well with God's grace. We're all well. I think we're
Hi,
good.
James. Is that James, or do I call you Dr. James?
Yeah, go ahead. Say hi.
Call me anything, Dr. Vimal.
No, just Vimal, not Dr. Vimal. Nice to meet you,
Hi, Nabila. How are you?
Nabila.
I'm good, Azim. How
Are
are
you in
you doing?
Toronto or in Dubai?
I'm in Toronto.
Yeah, you had a good launch last night at all the places. They're doing a big
Um,
program in Dubai in July next year. So Nabila is one of the leaders organizing a very big global encounter. It's of all the sports and artists and all that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Nabila,
So
nice to
anyway,
meet you.
let's
Nice
get
to
back
meet
to
you.
work. So we are supposed to come up with one challenge or one thing that we want to accomplish this year as a group, and we share it with the overall group. So James, you want to start some thought about what you have as your big thing?
Oh, as a bank, I have too many things on my head, you know.
Okay, let's go with Wima while you think. Wima, for you?
I think as a banker to make money less interesting. Interesting.
Make impact more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I would think from I mean, I'm born and brought up in Africa. I believe in Africa. I would think that making Africa relevant and increasing the self-esteem of Africa in the global context is something that's really needed right now. And it's not impossible.
More than ever before.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The reason I say this, Azim, is because we have everything. You've been here many times. And we have everything. We've got nothing we're missing. And we've got the opportunity space. We've got the people. We've got resources. We've got the sun. We've got what don't we have? And yet our esteem is low. Yet our voice is low. And, we're still, I would say, hitting below the belt. So that's my point.
Well, it's a good point because African population, the average age is very low, young. Like Canada, for example, is very older. So you have a young population which has much more energy and lifespan to get that transformation, right? You know, I always say that North America is here.
We can leapfrog. We can leapfrog. We don't have to go the same route as what Europe or America went through. Africa can leapfrog, and that's what I believe in. Sorry.
Wonderful. No, Nabila, for you?
So the question was a life challenge, right? Of what I want to overcome. Yeah. So I think for me, it's not depending on others for my own validation and happiness, that I'm able to do it on my own and I don't need like an outside person to tell me that yes, I'm good enough or I'm not good. Like, so personal. So that's my life challenge. I'd like to stand up on my own 2 feet without anybody's help.
I love that. So I think we've got two very powerful statements. One from Vimal, which is the Africa kind of transformation. And Nabila, for you, basically, how do you become the captain of your ship, the architect of your life, and the master of your destiny, and guide your life based on you, not what my cousin is saying, or what my friend is saying, or what my ex is saying, or whoever else it is. It is my journey, and I decide my journey, and I'm accountable for it, and not needing validation from others who have their own paradigm to give it. So I think those are two very powerful things we can bring to the table because of the shortage of time we have. So James, are you able to type those in the chat for us?
Okay.
Since Vimal and Nabila have come up with the points, so we give you the task of writing them.
Okay, the first one is
about Africa transformation. How do we optimize the resources and the manpower and the youth and all that? That is, I mean, and I think Vimal used the word part of lack of self-esteem or belief. I don't know, whatever, right?
Exactly. So I think my point was similar to what Nabila talked about. It's about not being validated by the West and by the Americas or by Europe and saying, yeah, you're not good enough, you're not this. And for her, it's personal, but for us, it's Africa's got a low self-esteem for itself, and it's like always a taker. And we always talk about donor dependency and stuff like that. And we need to stand up on our feet and say, guys, come on, we can do a lot more better. So I think the self-esteem would go up, and we can then really improve. So
1 minute left, so just keep typing.
Pick from there. Azim, you're the guru. You're the guru. Come on, pick it from there.
No, but I think Salim will pick from the chat. So if it's in the chat. But yeah, I think the 2 points are very valid, and I think we have something magical. So James, type them, and then we can elaborate in the class with the whole group if we need to, right? But thank you.
James, you agree with me?
Yeah, absolutely. We agree with you
Yeah,
100%.
I would think along the same thing because of we have all these platforms, CFTA, what, but we are still lagging behind. So I agree with the thought process.
Thank you.
And Nabila from Canada also agrees about Africa.
Is Nabila from Kenya or Africa before? No, or she's born
From
there?
Congo, from DRC.
Ah, okay. So that's
DRC,
even
Addis Ababa, and Kenya,
even better.
and Tanzania. So four of past Africa.
Yeah, so we're all Africans, but two in Canada and two in Africa.
I think
I'm in
we're
Nairobi.
okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
All right. We're waiting for everyone to get back into the group.
Hi, Agnes. How are you?
No one's going to be able
You're
to
mute. Don't
answer.
worry. Just smile.
All right. I think, Farzana, do we have everyone back?
There's still a few people just coming back, so maybe
Okay,
give
let's
them
give it a
30
minute.
more seconds.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so while we're waiting, if you guys can start posting your one life challenge that you would like to address, please go ahead and start typing. All right. While we're waiting for everyone to start typing their one life challenge, Azim, maybe you and I can have a bit more of a conversation.
Yeah.
I want to talk about leadership impact as we're waiting for everyone to post their things. I love the words you use, from trap to impact. And leaders, as leaders, we often look for impact. In fact, if I look at, MAD, making a difference, which I really enjoyed from Vimal, that's really, you get to a stage in your life where it's no longer about you. Life cycles are you get into the workforce, you earn income, you have family, you try and support the family, but hopefully you'll get to a stage in your life where you say, I don't need much more. I want to give more. Can you share a little bit about your trap to impact phase? When do you know you're there?
Yeah, I think it starts with clarity, right? The clarity about what does impact mean to you, clarity about what is your contribution going to be, clarity about where you play your best game, not the good game, but the best game, clarity about, what comes so naturally and effortlessly for you. So, for example, you never see a bird struggle to fly. You never see a flower struggle to bloom. You never see a star struggle to shine. Why are we struggling? Because we cease to be authentic. But when you're authentic, you become so effortless. Everything is so effortless because it's so natural, so authentic, so powerful. So when you are in that stage, you're already making impact because people around you get that, Sherry was explaining, they get that spark because you have it within you. When you enter the room, even if you don't speak a word, your energy is so inspiring already. So that's part one. Part two is, having that desire, not just a desire, but a burning desire, a fire in your belly that I really want my life to matter. And then realizing it's not about 10-year vision alone or 50-year vision. It's about every single day, every single moment. Don't count the moments, make every moment count. And when you're in that stage, then every moment is transformational. Every moment is impact just by being who you are, not just by doing, because we're not human doings, we are human being, just by being that person. And then being that person creates that kind of confidence to other people, creates that kind of energy, that kind of feeling of goodness and positivity, because that's who you are as a person. So I think all these things matter. And then, of course, having a systematic way of approaching life. If these are my vision, this is my power, this is my strength, how do I implement it day by day? How I organize myself, how I prioritize, how I start my morning with a bang. For example, when I wake up normally at 3:30 in the morning, I meditate from 4 to 5. At 5 a.m., I go to the gym for half an hour. When I'm at the gym, I'm listening to a podcast. At 5:30 to 7:30, I have 4 calls to make, one at Puerto Rico, one at DRC, one at wherever. By 7:30, when an average Canadian wakes up, I've done my meditation, I've done my exercise, I've done my reading, and I've done 4 calls. How are they going to catch up with me? So this is impact, right? Because you know what you want and you're designed to apply that in your daily life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we got lots of content and questions or ideas or life challenges that they wanted to share with us. I will first go through the ones that are submitted as a group, and then we can go through some individual ones. At least if the word group is there, I'm picking that up. So the first one from our group, the major life challenge is the involvement and attachment of our egos as part of our identities, because of which we as humanity is unable to connect to the source, to each other, and to reach our true potential. Okay, so let's talk about this one. How will me joining the Spark program help me manage my ego that is actually keeping me disconnected to what is really important in this world?
A quick, fast answer, because we want to keep it tight the thing. Sure. When you say I conquered ego, and I conquered my ego, that's ego. So you conquered your ego, but ego is coming from the back door. I conquered the ego. Basically, as Rumi says, when you give up your drop, you become the ocean. Say, what? I give up my drop? Me? I give up me? So we have a difficult time dropping the drop. But we don't realize if I drop the drop, I become the ocean. Now, the challenge is everybody feels I don't have ego, me including. But if you're really honest and objective, you realize how ego comes in from the back door. So you really, really have to be on guard. Yeah. And I think maybe it will take a whole lifetime to become zero ego. But the more we are able to conquer it, the more powerful we become. Because then nothing affects us, right? It's not about you anymore. It's about something bigger than you. When the subject, which is the ego, disappears in the object, which is the purpose, magic happens. But to get that, so the class will help you in that journey to become better and better, to realize you are the problem. There's no other problem. It's you are the problem.
I'm so tempted to ask a follow-on question, so I'm going to do it, and I'm not sure if it's an appropriate part for it, but ego is also self-confidence. So
Good.
What's the difference?
The difference is there's negative ego and there's positive pride. Negative ego is me. Positive pride is God gave me the gift, the eyes, the brain, the hand, and I'm doing God's work, and it's God who is doing it, and I'm grateful for it. And yes, I have to use my potential because I've been given that potential, but it's not mine. It was given to me. It can taken away like this. Yeah. So when you realize that when I'm doing this, is positive pride, is He's doing it and He's giving me the opportunity and the strength and the courage and the guidance, I'm very grateful for that. That's good ego. The bad ego is, hey, it's just me and everybody else is nothing, right? Or something like that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. All right. Difficulty having work-life balance. Need to work on health, do inner engineering, like include important things like meditation. So talk about the work-life balance. How does Spark help us with work-life balance?
So, I mentioned to you that, when you have Spark, for example, if you have the ultimate purpose credo, what your life is going to be defined by, and every day you're living in alignment with that purpose and that credo, then everything is in congruence. Your family, your health, your spirituality, your lifelong learning, your finance, your work is aligned because everything is connected to one purpose. And that creates magic in terms of how everything connects to each other, right? And that allows you to have balance, because balance is not divorce. Spiritual and material is not divorce. Your material life can be spiritual. If you're a father or a mother, you're inspiring your children with roots and wings. Roots is the ethics and principles and values you teach them and give them wings, the self-esteem. Your parenthood becomes an act of spirituality. So balance becomes all integrated. It's not divorced, right? And that's what you will learn in the class, how everything connects, because you become more clearer about what it really means, what direction you want to go, and what is your life all about in the end, at the end of your life, right?
One group seems to have a strong African influence. How do we as Africans create our own opportunities and our own validation in the global opportunity space? So how do we stand out? Yeah.
So I was in that class, so that's good. So we had Vimal from Kenya. We had James
Okay.
from Addis Ababa, we had Nabila originally from Congo, and Azim from
Yes.
Tanzania. So we were all
Oh,
Africans.
wow.
But basically, African population is young. I mean, Canada is an older population. USA is an older population, but Tanzania and other countries are very young population. So the young people have a lot more energy and drive and future. I mean, I always say North America is here, it can go up to here. Africa is here, it can go up to here. So there's a lot more potential. And one of the discussions that happened in the class was two things. One was the reason it's not optimizing its potential is because of the lack of self-esteem, lack of belief. And the point also came up, when you realize you don't need validation from outside to tell you who you are. If you start to believe, if you go to the ocean with one bucket, the ocean only gives you one bucket of water. If you go to the ocean with 100 buckets, the ocean will give you 100 buckets of water. What the mind conceives and the mind believes, as Napoleon Hill would say, the mind achieves. So it starts with belief. You don't need validation from other people. If you know your purpose, if you're clear about your purpose and you're using your gift to achieve your purpose, doesn't matter what Mr. X or Miss Y thinks. What they think is their paradigm. It's your paradigm. You're going to be answered. You cannot pass the buck to somebody else. I didn't do it because you are the captain of your ship. You are the architect of your life, and you are the master of your destiny. If it's to be, it's up to me, not in an egotistical sense, but a positive pride sense. Very important for Africa to know that we have it. We have the youth, we have the resources, and we can do it, right? We can't rely on other people to help us. And even individually, the same applies, right?
100%. Obviously, James concurs. Okay, another comment, focus on the important instead of the urgent. So, one of this person's life objectives is to be able to understand how to prioritize what is important rather than what is urgent. You've touched it on this a little bit earlier. Would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, I think basically knowing what's important to you. So for example, if your ultimate purpose is whatever people said, I want to make impact in the world or whatever it is, start with that and saying, for me to do that, what do I, and by the way, again, applies to the balance issue as well. You see, everything has three components. Business, which is your life, your work, you're a teacher, whatever. You have to earn some living to support your family. So that's one part. The other one is the balance, which you mentioned 6 areas: family, health, spirituality, lifelong learning, finance, and work. And the third area is the deep, deep desire to find meaning, to find purpose, to find happiness in what you do. I call it the business balance beyond. The corporate Sufi approach is the synergy of business, balance, and beyond. Spark does it beautifully. Because Spark, in each of this component of Spark, each one has that component of business, balance, and beyond. Service has that. For example, service starts with serving yourself. If you don't look after your health, you don't look after your knowledge, you don't look after your soul, you are unable to help others because you haven't helped yourself. So the discussion we did, you start your morning with meditation, exercise, and reading something uplifting. You start your day with a bang, right? And so that's your personal. Then you serve your family, which is your balance aspect about your family and your responsibilities. Then you serve the world. So you extend, and then you serve in your business, whatever service you're doing, whatever work you're doing is serving your customers, your stakeholders. So this component in all 5 areas applies to all walks of life and gives you that outcome that you're looking for.
Excellent, excellent. There's quite a few other points that have been popping up. We have another 2 odd minutes for this section. I want to improve my time management so I can focus on quality over quantity. And this has been actually a conversation that's been happening a lot as the world has become very noisy, too much activity. WhatsApp is, I think, driving everybody mad, right? We're in too many groups. There's just so much noise. It's quantity. How do we shift so that we can focus on quality?
Yeah, I think less is more. Less of important is better than more of unimportant. So differentiating between more and less. How do you do 10% that gives you 90% outcome? That's what you want to do, not do 90% to get 10%, and being very clear about that. Yeah. And so understanding what is my purpose in life, what I want to achieve, and how am I designing my time? Time management is actually self-management. It's not just time, it's self, how I manage me towards what I do and what kind of clarity do I have. So less is more, sometimes slow is fast. In relationship building, you got to slow down to speed up. You can't speed up in relationships. Sometimes small is big. Success is in big things, but happiness is in small things. You hug your wife or your daughter, your son, you say, I love you. Small things matter big, right? So it's really about important is not doing more, but doing less, but being intentional about it and aligned to what matters, which is part of your purpose.
Fantastic. And I love the fact that, we began at the beginning of the hour, the whole conversation, and we're almost coming to the end of it. And it boils down to that again, purpose. What do we stand for? I'm going to ask Shari to talk to us a little bit about the upcoming masterclass. Are you happy to get into the conversation now, Azim, about the upcoming masterclass?
Yep. I think,
All right.
yeah, I think,
Shari?
Sherry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the master class will be on October 27th. Is that right?
26.
26. So the next Ignite Your Spark Masterclass will be on October 26th. And this webinar, I tell you, is just a sneak peek of what you can achieve after you have attended the masterclass. And so I encourage everyone to enroll to the Ignite Your Spark Masterclass with Azim Jamal. If you enroll today, you will have a 1-hour one-on-one session with Azim Jamal himself. And believe me, your life will change for the better. And that is not exaggerating. It is true, and I have experienced it myself. And the Ignite Your Spark Masterclass will be a 66-day journey. You will have activities, and that will truly help you with your sense of purpose. And this is where you will understand activity impact more and finding your balance and a whole lot more. So ignite your spark by joining the masterclass.
Azim?
Yeah, thank you, Sherry. Yeah, I think basically we have classes every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. Eastern time to 11:15 a.m. or 75 minutes for 8 weeks. And then you'll have 15 days of your personal work you'll do. At the end, you'll have a one-on-one. In the beginning of the class, you'll assess yourself in 15 areas, 3 in service, 3 in purpose, 3 in attraction, 3 in resilience, and 3 in knowing. And every week you will reassess yourself, how you're moving the needle. And our promise is by the time you start to the time you end, you will increase by between 10 to 30% growth in overall average of 15 areas. That's the commitment we'll be making. And yeah, the class will be very interactive as it was today and basically covering these areas. And you also get workbooks every week, which you work on, they're permanent for you. Every week's recording of the session, you'll get a copy of that. We also have, Salim and I have done several pre-recorded sessions about these topics, which you'll get a copy of. And you will have each other as a group to help each other as a community for lifetime, not just for the class, but you continue thereafter. So that's basically what it is. I think Farzana has put the link in the chat. If you want to sign up, you can sign up. And if you do sign up today, you'll get 1 hour one-on-one coaching with me personally as a gift for taking this. And everybody who is here till now, if you send a message to info@corporatesufi.com, you'll get 2 gifts, 2 books. Even if you don't register for the program, you'll get 2 gifts. One is a book, What You Seek is Seeking You, which Brian Tracy and I have co-authored. You'll get the booklet of that. And the other one is my latest book, Spark, Journey from Success to Significance. So really appreciate you being there. And I love the discussion and the engagement and the questions you brought. We couldn't go through all the questions, but if you're going to be part of the class, we'll definitely delve into it. I want to thank Sherry and Farzana for helping out, and especially Salim, who's been my close friend and confidant, has worked with me for a long time. So with that, Salim, you can wrap up the session.
Thank you very much. Appreciate we had about 50 people on this call, so appreciate you all being here. The impact of really putting yourself into a space that allows your mind to start thinking in a different way is a powerful one. The journey, as we say, begins with 1 step. And I would strongly recommend that you have some self-reflection to understand what is your purpose. How do we do things that are beyond us? And I saw some of the questions talked about, what do you do when you're in a difficult space and you can't get to do what you want? Sometimes what's missing is just the tools. It's just the tools. And Spark is an incredible tool to help you navigate some of the challenges that you may not only have in your life today, but that will come in your life in the future. So encouraging you to join the program, encouraging you to have an opportunity to engage with Azim. As he's mentioned, those that are on this call, if you register soon, he will give you one-on-one time. It is quite difficult actually to book Azim, not only from the time point of view, but also from a cost point of view. So the masterclass allows him to live to his purpose, which is, how do I make the world a better place by sharing all of this knowledge with people that can make on their own terms the world a better place. Azim, you wanted to share something before
all of you will get a recording of this webinar as well as in your emails, so you will get this. And somebody asked about the cost is $495 US for the 66 days, which includes all the tools that you'll get part of it, which usually is less than an hour of my time. So it's a great gift. And if you sign today, you get the hour as well. So I think in terms of cost, it's a no-brainer. It's really your commitment and your willingness to do this program is more important.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shari and Farzana, as well, for your great contribution and your support in this initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Azim.
much.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.